You're gonna know if this is for you, because this is for you. So what we want to talk about today is we felt inspired to talk about what we are experiencing when it comes to this next evolution of human consciousness. You know, when we tell people, they have no concept in their minds what we have done. We didn't even fully grasp it logically. Like, what did we actually do? It's a little bit like that, because there's no one outside that can give you truly validation other than when you get a resonance from the body. This is the thing. It's like, this is one of the things that we have noticed when coming out and starting to talk to people. People are so full of bullshit that they just expect everyone else to be the same. And so sometimes people can't, they don't have any concepts of what it means to transcend the dualistic perspective. What do you mean? What do you mean transform the dualistic? This is the life that we're living here. Get with reality. Like, there's all kinds of thoughts. And thought creates. So of course, if thought creates, if you're living a particular reality, that reality will be a byproduct of your thinking. It's always like that. You can't blame the messenger either. You know, there are many beings that don't want to hear what we have to say sometimes. When we sort of go a little bit more and address a certain little sneaky bugger in someone, let's say, they don't like to be poked at. You know, they don't like when someone sees them. And so we've had many that's like pretending on the surface, and then when the meeting is over, it's like, then it's like oh thank God, this and the projection and whatever the thing, right? That can very often happen, but always know that projection is a defense against something. If you're trying to blame or anything outside, you're not playing the game right. It's really that simple. And what we have seen is that there is a different there is a feeling frequency that when you tune into that in regards to people still, but not what they say. It's like, what are the bodies actually saying? Not many beings are still confused with this and thinking, because there are still lots of those things going on when it comes to people. But once you get, at the very least, good at spotting it, that's really the thing. In the all the way in the beginning is just comprehending what the heck I'm talking about, or what this is all about. You know, we're channeling and we are adjusting our frequency to the holistic perspective, because the holistic perspective is seeing things very differently. It's the perspective when you're connected to your body, and it is the process of integration with the body. You first have to sort of comprehend why you're doing it. You can't just heal and you're not really knowing what you're healing from and what the end goal is, and you just think that you're healing forever, going through mentally the past. That's not what this is about. It's truly about getting to know your body. As if you don't, because many beings don't. They have no clue what their body is, and they are seeking for validation or comfort or everything outside in other people, so that they don't have to feel the uncomfortable feelings that might set you free, without blaming the outside. Daring to feel all the hurt that happened. You know? Daring to feel all of it. But also comprehending that you don't go into the same situation again. Knowing also how you can spot in reality, because many beings get hurt and then they think that they are spotting it by seeing what other beings seems like, and then it reminds them. That is a filter that needs to be filtered through before you can see the truth, because that's not defense. Well, it is a defense, but it's defense against feeling. And we want to feel. We don't want to pretend. We want to know what reality actually is. So we don't want to pretend. We really don't want to pretend with one another either. Someone was finding a place to pee. They were right there. They saw us and then waved. That's funny. It's very sweet. People are very sweet here. We really like it. They're very connected to the body. They are very loyal that way, more than the mind, we would say, Mexicans. But they still have more development in their consciousness. But there's a sweetness to just operating from the body, even if you're a little silly sometimes, and that's what people usually smile at, because it's just sweet, someone just doing their best type of thing, oh, sorry, I didn't know, Okay, let's see if we can get back into this. Yeah, it's very easy to fall for these layers and think that they're something that they're not. And we have to be a bit cautious with this one too, because it can be tempting. That's why we have to go through so much clearing sometimes. Sometimes we have to go through a few layers to really make sure that we get Gaia signals, like this, when we were invited to that party or that celebration, vocal. It was very, very nice using. We like to use our vocal cords. So we had to make sure that because we first projected our past onto him, and there is some similar frequency to certain things, but we had to go through that. And then we saw that, Gaia is inviting us. Okay, so it is that. Okay. And then we see the truth. That's what trips many people up, is that they project onto people, project on through their mind, thinking what certain things are based on past history, how men, women operate, how those type of group of people, how it's how you're supposed to say something, how you're not like there are a lot of things, you know. A lot of women are very used to, if they don't get attention, like there's almost like an allure of getting attention, you know. And sometimes that can be the dualistic game, to give or not to give, like that play. That is seen as romantic, but it's actually a dance of like giving energy, giving back energy. There is a bit of ping pong there, and there is a this is something that we're also working on, by the way. This is not something that we have fully developed, but this is the process that we're in, and that's why we were in that setting the other day, that we were practicing staying centered in ourselves, you know, communion with our source, right? And so people don't believe us. When we say what we can do. But there's been a few beings that they came through straight when they show up in openness, in full trust to life and whatever can happen here. There is a surrender that is needed to the body's wisdom, to the body's intelligence, to the most natural thing that this body does. And that's to seek harmony, always. We are taught to seek out there, but it is only to be in here. But sometimes there is like sort of like another layer that is not spoken, that you can sense between the bodies. That is sort of like, is this training in frequency? And this is what Gaia wanted to get us to get stronger in our own center in any situation. We can tell that we're being trained here. And we don't know what the next step is. We are waiting for Gaia's nudge, because we are following. We are not thinking that we are supposed to do this, that, or the other. We are a little bit, of course, but it's after the download has come. And then we organize, and that's when we use the intellect. So of course you have to use the intellect. You see? And so we don't know when that next step is. We have to just go with what the body feels. You know, oh, we're hungry. We have to go with these natural impulses from the body. Now we're hungry. Now we don't feel like sitting here anymore. Now we feel like going out. Now we're like bored. Now we're like, sometimes the body has these things. Or it's just, okay, let's do this. Sometimes it's just like this impulse. And now we follow. We follow that. Because we know that's Gaia calling us. Either sometimes it's just to get some air, and that's okay too. If that all is what happens, that's fine too. There's no expectation. It's a little bit of anticipation of what can happen. And this is who walks this path? Well, we do, but we've wanted this path for so long to know exactly how to do it, and now we do. And it's so much fun because we see so much growth happening, because we're using every situation that Gaia is presenting us with, because there's always a nugget when she's guiding us. There's always a little nugget to see where we're at, what more we need of what things. And then we also use the situations to just milk out whatever learnings that was in that. Because what we have realized is that this is the most beneficial use of energy. And when you do that, it's a similar thing that we've done in the past when you've cleaned up your past. If you have been through that process, this is the process that the whole Holistic Optimizer series is about, to sort of go through your past and clean up. And it's a very similar process, but we're just looking at things from an energetic truth perspective, and we see truly what's actually happening without the thoughts, but we're looking at behavior, we're looking at what happened and when our body felt what, and this whole thing, you know? And we have to piece all of them together. We can't just listen to the mind and not listen to all the rest, but we can't not listen to the mind and only listen to all the rest. That's also duality, you see? Just listen to the feeler and not listen to the mind. There is both. But also recognize when the mind has a twisted perception and just saying shit for the sake of saying it. Usually that lowers your frequency. If you just say stuff for, know what the source is, because that's what's creating. And if you're just being your authentic self, that's a good place to be. Just like this dude, he was just like, and found another. He just peed a little bit further ahead, which was respectful, And that's like, because if you do anything else, the other person can feel it. And then it's like, there's not trust. If it's like, there's so much training in crap. Like sales training, like take that for example. Sales training. You learn how to manipulate people. That's like their idea of sales training. Some. Not the good ones. The good ones know it's about giving and receiving, and there is value and all of that, right? But there are many twisted perceptions that is floating around in energy form. And when you learn to use your feelings to discern what's going on, you get a much better, your thoughts and your feelings together. Not, oh no, the thoughts are always right or the feelings are sort of less than. Like that's imbalance, like heck, You're not going to get anywhere good with that level of balance within your system. And so that's why we're doing this. It is literally the mind being in service to the feeler. But a lot of people have misinterpreted that too. Oh yeah, you're supposed to be in service to the feminine, to a woman. You're supposed to be of service to a woman. Because only a woman can have higher intelligence or what? Like, but it used to be sort of like that. So it sort of hangs a little bit in the energy field of people's field because of just history. And that's what's creating here. And we have to clean that up. And the only way to clean it up is within your own system. You can't ask someone else to do it. You can go to a session and have like there be a collective space, or that's what we're offering, so that we can teach you how to do this, so that you get to learn how to heal your body, how to heal your mind, body, and soul. Many beings use these words and they don't even know what they're talking about half of the time. They're just saying stuff, not really knowing the depth. But that's where the juice is. When you truly comprehend, okay, my mind, my body, soul is sort of like, your whole energy. And then the mind is sort of like the filtering mechanism, right? Many people have called that the ego. But you've sort of called it the ego, meaning almost like it's everything that you don't like that you do. So we wanted to clear this up a little bit. We just call it the knower. It is the filtering mechanism within the human system. And then depending on how clouded that thought system is, which is an equivalent of having very foggy eyeglasses, that means there's a lot of distortions in the mind space, and that you are the one that is doing this, right? You have been trained like that, and now we are training ourselves out of that into the holistic perspective. This is the next level that has been waiting for humanity to step into for many, many years. And it has been a little bit of a little nut for many beings to figure this one out. Many beings have figured it out. Some beings have found it partially out. And some beings have just been going with the automatic, the body, and figured it out that way. Not really maybe knowing it consciously, but just daring to be who they are. That gets you far when you are aligned with that expression. Which just means that you are aligned as what you are expressing through this body, you are aligned with it. You don't have any distortions clouding the flow of energy through your body. The more you align, meaning hear the truth, practice the truth, adjust so that you trust when there is no trust, if there is evidence to trust. You don't just force the body to trust. That's not natural. If the body doesn't trust, it doesn't feel safe with you and the way you handle the body. Right? It's about you. It's not about the other beings. It's not about anyone else. It's about you. You and your connection to your body. Your body is your best friend. It's time that you treated it like that, Don't confuse yourself with the body though. When you have negative feelings going on, that's not you, right? Sometimes you can get confused like, oh, I am the body. No, you're not the body. You are the one operating it. You are the one that says, okay, this has gone on for too long. We have to do something. That's you. That's the knower. Takes action. It's seen as very masculine. And that is directional, decisive, truth, clarity, penetrative. Right? That is what masculinity is. And then receiving is more feminine. And so this dance happens all the time for all people, regardless if you're a man or a woman. I think that's what we felt like sharing today. That was it. And so, if you like this, what you can experience with these is that they sort of shift subtle. Sometimes it can be very subtle. If you're attuned to your body, they can sort of get you to open up different pathways. That's really what we're doing here. We're opening up pathways of seeing more of this reality, because once you see more of the possibilities of what is actually outside of what you think it is, you start to realize that, wow, I knew nothing before. You know? And now our game is to walk the body's game. And that means that we are patient. We are looking for the signs of what Gaia is in our body, in other people, in situations. We are looking at where do we go off? Where did we do this? We are constantly sort of self-regulating. Not because we think that we messed up or like to blame, or like there's none of that. It's only, okay, this is where we're at with this one. Okay, we need a bit of this and a bit of that. It's like a mechanic. It's very straight. Because once you know how this operates with the mind, it just needs certain things. It's like a little, like we're like a mechanic for the mind. That's really what we are. But it does take someone to be open to us and actually acknowledge that for them to receive the lesson. Not for us. We know who we are. We know what we do. You know? It's like, it's for the benefit of the beings that is exposed to these teachings. Because when you are exposed to the teachings, they can expand your consciousness way beyond your comprehension. And that's what we do here. We expand in consciousness. And that also includes healing the body. That also includes going through what is correct. We say correct behavior as if there's a wrong one, but it's only, what we mean is that how you behave with your body that includes the most amount of energy that you can maintain in goodness, in joy, in excitement for life, and that includes everything, and especially people. People is something that we have messed up with so much, especially romantic relationships is something that we have messed up with. And that's something that we can feel the body is ready for that. The body is ready to heal the heart, sort of like feeling, and we haven't, I don't think that we've ever felt love through this body the way, or let's not even call it love, opening of the energy centers of the body to the extent that we know is possible, that we know that we're ready for now. That's a big deal. And that's just us as a soul, because we can sharing this is like, oh yeah, you're calling in a partner. Like you can see it from that perspective, right? But we are not operating this system just from this logical human mind. But that's what most people see. You see? But we are also operating much, much grander channels, right? But if beings don't have access to that, very rarely does a being then have learned how to tell if someone else has. It's usually a lot of misunderstandings, and then they blame and project, and it's a whole thing, you know. So this is why we are here. I think. Because then we have a place to be, but we're also moving forward with, and here we can have a lot of, there are a lot more opportunities that can happen here than where we have been. So we're very grateful that we're here. Even if it's very different, you know, we had to acclimatize, our body had to acclimatize from very, very calm, sort of not seeing many people energy, and now we're starting to like get our funk back a little bit, you know. There is a little bit of that. So we are sharing our process and the way that Jesus and the team are guiding us all the time, and we are shifting every single day. There is something with the body we're shifting. Today we had lots of, like, the entire left side was being worked on, several sessions actually, and there are a lot of adjustments, like within the thigh, like from the knee up to the hip, like lots of different areas that was strengthened, and the cells were improved, and lots of like small tensions here that was just being streamed out. Very, very cool what happens when they correct perspective, and then you can feel the effects of what they're doing. It's very, very cool. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be walking this path. It's such a fun journey. If this touched you in any way, please let us know, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.